Is Thiago Motta the best manager currently in Italy? What will happen with the squad after this season is over? Joshua Zirkzee might be one of the best young strikers in world football right now. This play style is just lovely to watch and it's broken the Serie A apart this season. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Players Own YouTube channel. We've got to talk about Bologna. Now that they've secured Champions League football next season, Thiago Motta and his side have done fabulous work this year. A team that when he came over and took over last season, they were 5 games without a win. He saved them last season to finish in the top half in 9th, and then went one step better this season with such a young squad and playing such a distinctive style of football that separates him from a lot of managers around the world. Bologna currently sit in 3rd. A fantastic season ahead of now Juventus. Despite their struggle this season, it's a great feat for this side. He returned to the Champions League for the first time since the 1964-65 season. They've done it with a very young squad as well, the average age being 24 and a half years of age. So with the young players and a distinctive style of football, Thiago Motta and his mastermind has gotten Bologna over the line into 3rd place. But with all things being said, it might all come crashing apart at the end of this season because a lot of players and his great mind have been linked elsewhere. And despite this, though, we've got to celebrate what a great season Bologna has had. Obviously, Roma's lost 2-1 last night meant that now Bologna secure Champions League football. And obviously, the big reason is for Thiago Motta and what he's come in and done with his Bologna side. As I said, when he came in originally, Bologna were 5 games without a win. They were winless. He converted that to a 9th place last season, showing signs of a game plan, attacking style of football, but not the style of football we see today with such a distinctive and unique style. He basically plays with a famous sort of 2-7-2 where one centre-back will push into midfield and the goalkeeper becomes the back 2 alongside a centre-half. You got 7 in a midfield area where it's congested with sort of 3 in there, some wide players and the fullbacks as well. And then up top, if you go the 2-7-1, it's Zirkzee all alone up top. If not, you look at the likes of Ferguson who can push on from an attacking midfield position to basically be a second striker up top. It is so unique, it has worked so well, and it's torn the Serie A apart in many regards. They are literally possession. They will stretch you, they will out-pressure you and outwork you with the way they play their football. And it's not only the going forward style of football, which you've seen be so successful amongst a lot of the great leagues and other great teams in the great leagues, like Inter, like we've seen in Girona there in Spain, like we see with Aston Villa in the Premier League, in Stuttgart and in Leverkusen in Germany. They have a very strong, solid unit defensively. I think the second best defence in the league with only 27 goals conceded all season, despite being so progressive and so attacking, basically leaving one centre-back to defend when they're in possession at times. And it's just been clinical all season long. They've got the 18 wins, the 13 draws, the 5 losses, 67 points, make them very, very hard to beat. The second least amount of losses just behind Inter Milan. He looked formidable this season. So, the way they're positioned, obviously cannot now take over AC in second, but to be the 3rd best team in Serie A is a massive feat when you've got the likes of Napoli, Roma, Fiorentina around the place as well, alongside the likes of Juventus, AC, Inter, all worry about, and they're sitting 3rd amongst all those big giants. It says a lot to the development of this side, and yes, it might end up being just a one-season wonder, but it's all got to go down to Thiago Motta and his style of football he's played. As I said, this attractive attacking style of football has, I guess, not been seen before, and as such, it hasn't been able to be adjusted to or beaten. A lot of teams have come and tried to outplay them, outwork them, outpress them, but it's never really worked. Even Atalanta, as of recently, tried to play a very physical, strong game of football versus Bologna, but they just picked them apart and won the game quite smartly, 2-1, I believe, not too long ago. So, it's that sort of mastermind and brain where Motta and his side with his system, this sort of attacking mindset, possession-based football and fluidity with possession has just broken teams apart. Teams don't know how to adjust. And when you see some of these stock footage that people put up there and still images of how rotational this squad is, it's just so hard to stop. As I said, you've got basically at times one centre-back and a goalkeeper as your defensive line, and you've got midfielders dropping into defensive areas. You've got wing-backs pushing on and basically being left wingers and right wingers at times. It's a fluid system that's constantly moving with and without the ball that teams cannot adjust. You can't counter-press something like this. You can't just be physical because you're going to have to work hard without the ball. And they've just simply outplayed teams because of their system, because of their structure and their style. As I said, fluidity is probably the key word for this system. There, you don't play one position, you don't play an area of grass, you play a role. And that means if sometimes you have to push into a wide area, the greatest case is Ferguson, the captain, who's been fantastic this season, normally plays in number 10, can go up and be a second striker to Joshua Zirkzee, can push out wide to replace an Orsolini in a wide position. When you're a centre-half, you can push into midfield and create overloads in that midfield area there. You can defend at times as a 2, at times as a 3. They often have a low block positioned in. Sometimes that can be filled in by a centre-half. It's very, very fluid. It reminds a lot of Girona style of football where you've got left-backs in midfield, centre-halves at left-back. You've got holding midfielders dropping into centre-half. It's not really positional-based. It's a role-based. You have to fill in an area and you have to adjust the situation. And it takes a lot for the players to adjust that, but there's been some absolute standouts, especially in such a young squad. The way they've adapted to Motta's style of football has just been fantastic. And I think, obviously, outside of Inter Milan and outside of AC, not many teams have played as attractive a style of football as Bologna have in the Serie A this season. They're very easy to watch on the eye. They're fantastic with and without the ball. And you can see by the defensive stats, being the second best defence in the league, being one of the better teams going forward in possession. The goals haven't quite come for them this season, but the build-up play is fantastic. There's no real flaws and holes in the game, and teams have tried to come and change their style of football to try and beat them, but not many teams have been successful. Only 5 times have they lost this season, and that's all got down to the players and Thiago Motta himself. Look at some of the standout players this season. For me, Lewis Ferguson is the standout for me. I love watching his work. The captain, the Scottish midfielder, obviously recently won Serie A midfielder of the season. He's got the 6 goals, the 3 assists, but it's so pivotal in terms of how he drives Bologna forward. Can, as I said, link up with Zirkzee very well. They've developed such a great duo where Zirkzee can sometimes drop in short, allow Ferguson to run in behind. Ferguson can play the ball into Zirkzee for a hold-up, get the ball back and spread the play. They have a real great, almost telepathic type link up there. And he's been pivotal in terms of getting that ball from the midfield areas, getting it forward or getting it wide. He is that link, he is that cog that drives Bologna from midfield areas and their possession there to up the pitch and creating those chances, especially against teams that put in a low block or try and be very physical and force Bologna backwards. He's always someone who can get the ball going forward for the side. He's pass attempts, pass completion rate puts him amongst the top 5% for attacking midfielders. His progressive passes received is the top 5% amongst midfielders as well. So constantly getting the ball and getting it moving and getting it going forward. Averages a 7.19 match rating over the season on SofaScore there. So just being consistent, pivotal figure and such an important leader of this side here. A second player, and probably the most exciting one is Joshua Zirkzee, linked away to United, Arsenal, AC, I think would be the best fit, but I think that's another link away as well. He's been the most notable improvement. He has been fantastic this season, a youngster, 22 years old, and produced one of the most successful seasons and one of the most impressive seasons for me in terms of young strikers around Europe. He's got the 11 goals, the 4 assists, but his ability to find the back of the net with superb movement, some great finishes. He's not a wasteful striker. He's always getting into dangerous spots and puts it in the back of the net. And he's equally as important for the build-up play as well. As I said, he's a very good hold-up striker for his young age. He knows he needs to drop in and sometimes feed that midfield to be available for the midfield. Can also spin in behind the back line and use his pace to get beyond defenders. And is always there and in the system as the solo striker, that 2-7-1. He's alone up there a lot of times, but the way he's always an option for his team and can help them link the game up is just second to none and separates him from a lot of young strikers in the world because not many strikers have that capacity to do that, to be available for a pass and to spread the game like he does. And, he's just truly, his pressing, his work with him without the ball is just fantastic. And I think it separates him from the likes of the Højlunds, from the Nicholas Jacksons, and the Nunes, the young strikers in the Premier League, which we see a lot of. It puts him up there with the likes of Guirassy for me, Harry Kane, the way he sort of plays that style of football, does equal as much with and without the ball, like Thuram as well at Inter Milan. There's a lot of great work in that regard. In the top 20% for forwards in terms of progressive carries, successful take-ons, and his passing stats are all in the top 10% amongst forwards, showing his importance and how he links the game up, and is a sort of attribute that not many young footballers, especially up top, have, that ability to play the pass and be successful in playing the pass. You know, the way he can link the game up for Bologna, obviously under Thiago Motta, has just been fantastic, and I guess an element that a lot of teams will be looking for, and that's why he's been shopped around or being looked at as probably the best option amongst forwards to sign this summer, especially at the age of 22. Just fantastic. And two other players that have been key for them on the flanks is Riccardo Orsolini and Alexis Salmakers. Orsolini, the 10 goals, 2 assists. Salmakers with the 4 goals and 2 assists. Again, numbers might not scream out the page for you, but they provide so much for this side in terms of creating that width, being available. Again, at times have to duck into midfield or drop into a attacking midfield position when Lewis Ferguson pushed on, becomes a second striker. So I guess all these players have to be talked about in terms of how dynamic they can be with and without the ball. But these wide players and those two guys, Ferguson and Zertsky, have just stood out for me in terms of being so consistent and so important for this system here. Obviously, if you look towards next season now they've qualified for the Champions League for the first time since 64 and 65, there's a lot of pressure to see how it all works out, because look at Thiago Motta will be linked away to the possible Juventus job, could be the AC Milan job, but he'll be working at a bigger club in Italy, I think we can assume. And then you've got the likes of Zertsky linked away to Milan, to Man United, to Arsenal. I wouldn't be surprised if Lewis Ferguson shopped around as well, as being the Serie A's best midfielder at age 24 as well. So a lot of players will be linked away. You've got a big hole opening up there. It looks like Vincenzo Italiano from Fiorentina looks like the best bet to come and fill that role. He's been very good at developing young players and playing a more progressive style of football. Fiorentina's obviously gone to back-to-back Conference League finals now. He's been successful at that side. They're sitting 8th in the league right now, so that's a good option. But can you continue this, such unique game plan, this such special game plan where there's no real position, there's no real position, role, and the like. It's structured, but not so structured, if you know what I mean. You have to play a part on the park. You have to fill in a position at some point in time. There's not many players, squads, and managers that can play that style of football. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they go next season. There's going to be probably 0 to no expectation for them. The Champions League is a free hit there. How do they manage that alongside league football? Can they keep up their standards? Can they at least finish in the top half and balance both? It'll be very interesting to see. There's going to be a lot of pressure, especially with some of your big guns going away. But in terms of you looking at this season here, 23 and 24, it's just been fantastic. The work Thiago Motta's done, the rise of Lewis Ferguson, Joshua Zertsky, and this such unique 2-7-1, 2-7-2 formation they play is just so exciting to see. And it'll be exciting to see where Thiago Motta can take his career next and how he will implement this style of football at other clubs, because it's worked so far with Bologna, and if we can work with this Bologna side that's been one of the greatest up-and-coming stories of the season, what's saying it can't go and work at some of the biggest teams in Italy? And what's saying one of these big clubs can't go deep in the Champions League playing this style of football? Because it seems nowadays these former players, these former holding midfielders, Xabi Alonso, Joshua Zertsky, Xavi, these great masterminds of the game are producing at their clubs at the current point in time. So it'll be very exciting to see what happens next season, not only with Bologna, but also with Thiago Motta and his new side he'll possibly be going to. With that all being said, ladies and gents, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. How have you seen Bologna's season? Do you reckon it's been one of the great stories this season? Where do you rank them amongst the Leverkusens, the Stuttgarts, the Aston Villas, in terms of a surprise season for you? And who stood out for you for this season in terms of their players and their side? Is there any ones that really stood out? Where do you think some of the managers, the players will land come next season? Let me know that all in the comment section down below. With that all being said, please guys, if you enjoyed the video, smash a like on it, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, press that post notification bell so you know when we upload more videos, podcasts, analytical prediction videos. They'll all be living here in the channel as we approach the Euro tournament come the summer. With that all being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the upcoming football action, and I'll see you guys in a video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.